Hello world. You're watching 80s Music Twin Ranked. I'm Joel.
I'm Chris.
Today we're talking about Billy Idol. He's, would you say he's our first punk group or second? Police supposedly came from a punk.
Yeah, well, their hairstyles.
Yeah, I don't think their music was, but who knows. Anyways, so Billy Idol, we're gonna say is our first punk act.
Billy Idol, which is a form of a teacher had called him Billy because of his schoolwork. Billy, you're idle, like he doesn't do anything.
And he said
it sounded too much like Eric Idle of Monty Python, so he changed it to Idol, like American Idol.
Yep. And he's got similarities to two things. One, Journey, because Journey had one-word titles to their albums. Behind us, it's all 2 words for most of Steven Seagal used to do that with his movies.
Three words, yeah, Marked for Death.
Hard to Kill. Out for Justice. Yeah. Anyways, so let's talk about movies. Billy Idol could have been the teacher.
The teacher from Terminator.
The villain in
Now, he did make a video later on, Shock to the System, I think it was.
Right.
Where it says...
he became a cyborg.
It says the Metal Man is what it calls him in IMDb.
I watched half of that video.
You couldn't stand it?
I couldn't sit through it, so I didn't.
It didn't do anything. I was waiting for him to attack and kill everybody.
The police beat him, right? They're like smacking him.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they had to turn him into a cyborg.
But I thought he was going to get revenge, and he never did. He was just walking around like... They didn't have the budget.
Maybe you need money, and of course, come the '90s, his sales went decline.
Yeah, well, the money went all to the robot face, whatever it was.
So he starts out 1981. Not a great album, actually. Prior to 1981, the punk band they were in was called Generation X. Now we're in Generation Z right now.
Yeah.
Correct? And this was back then, it was Generation X. That's about right. I was in college and for feature writing, and this little group we had to pull off into our little groups and make up our own newspaper. And the one guy I was with wanted to call it Generation X.
So, and they're called Generation Z right now.
Okay.
Does that mean this is the last generation?
We're done, right? They're gonna start calling AA. I mean, before Generation X, did they use A, B, C, D, and all that?
It just made me something funny. It's a TikTok thing I just saw.
Okay.
Where they're like every letter, it sounds like what it is. starts with A. B, B, C, D.
Okay.
Then you get to W, starts with a D. You're like, wait, what?
You had to get all the way down to W before that happened?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right, nothing to do with anything?
No, that's funny.
Okay, so Generation X, and believe it or not, Dancing With Myself, one of his first songs played on MTV that I remember. That came from that band before he was a solo singer.
He was a singer in that. I believe he was in a band previously.
That played
Something
guitar.
called Chelsea, and he was just a guitarist. He
was
wasn't
a
a
guitarist,
singer.
and they put him in the lead.
But 2 of the members, him and Steve Stevens, left the group before their own band. Yeah.
Right. So he's been the guitarist for Billy Idol, I think, his whole career. Now, amongst all his albums, I'm going to say this. There is one interesting name, and that's Harold Faltermeyer, was one of the 5 keyboardists on Whiplash Smile, that CD.
Okay, that was the third one, right? That was the one after Rebel Yell.
4. Well, 4? Technically, okay, Don't Stop is number 1.
Yeah, that Don't Stop
didn't have a hit. Oh, it was
4 or 5 songs.
It was an
EP.
EP.
Wasn't really
okay, so yeah, you could say Whiplash Smile is number 3.
Yeah.
It took a while after Rebel Yell came out, probably because it was such a huge hit for him.
Yeah, Rebel Yell was the first album I've had. And I won it from some game we played in school. And that was one of the prizes. Come up and pick up a prize. And there was like one of the cassettes was, that's what I won. I won for...
That's funny. So you didn't buy that?
No. The first one I bought was Hewlett Sports.
But if you did buy one of his albums,
that
would be it.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. But, knowing us, I would have never bought Billy Idol. But I had it.
But it's funny though when you watch his videos, especially the ones where he's in concert. Those look like a fun concert.
Yeah.
Unlike, we were talking about Led Zeppelin last week. I don't know if I'd have fun at a Led Zeppelin concert. I think I'd have fun at a Billy Idol concert.
Yeah.
So he doesn't look like he's so far out of reach.
Yeah, no.
And even as a
He is relatable. That's why he
is
was
relatable.
That's why he was
The
the
wedding
wedding singer.
The wedding singer.
And it was all for the love
And he
he
helped. He was a key turning point in that movie. On the airplane, helping Billy Idol. He gets on the.
He was also
acts like the pilot.
He was in the Goldbergs too, I believe.
Probably as himself.
Because the Goldbergs have an episode.
I didn't see his name in the credits.
No, but they had an episode where they were on the plane that Drew Barrymore and Adam
Really?
Sandler were on.
That's kind of cool. I bet maybe they had somebody that played Billy Idol's character because I don't remember him listed.
Okay, maybe that might have been.
He supposedly was in The Doors. The
Yeah,
movie.
he played one. I
Played
did
it.
not.
I
I didn't watch it long enough. Oliver Stone's
I
The
know.
Doors.
It's
It wasn't really a
It's
big
a deleted
success.
scene. It was a deleted scene.
No, they said he got in an accident and had his leg,
Right.
so he had a shorter casting role.
Right.
But he was in it.
I tried watching that scene too. It was fuzzy.
No, I tried to watch.
couldn't find
I tried to watch the movie. I got an
Oh,
hour into
well,
it, and I'm like, I'm done.
I saw most of the movie.
Sorry about that. Don't say that. It's not gonna be in there.
Okay. So, so aside from Tichu, by the way, would he have been a good villain in that movie? Because Robert Patrick was really good.
Yeah. No, you
don't
can't
know
replace Robert Patrick.
I don't know that Billy Idol would have.
I think it was good that it was somebody that was relatively unknown.
Yeah, I do too. So it's similar to like Brad Pitt got the part that John Cougar could have got.
Right.
That
Yeah.
probably would have been a bad choice too. So musicians beware.
But that's why he became. I already said that, didn't I? About this shock to the system.
Right.
It was his because he didn't get that role. Oh, the role is because he didn't get the role because of his accident.
Right. His motorcycle accident that happened in 1990, which is why when you watch the
Cradle
video-
of Love, it's only from the waist up.
well, he's in the picture
Paintings.
basically. So
Another video directed by David Fincher.
did
His
Paula
dancing,
Abdul-
with myself video. Was
Toby Hooper.
Yeah.
In case you don't know who directed that, Poltergeist
And Texas Chainsaw
Massacre. So it's zombie related. I guess so. Just zombies.
Yeah, because when they're trying to climb the wall, it reminds me of World War Z.
Right. Yeah. But they're actually climbing on top of each other.
They're trying to get to
Obviously,
Billy
they
Idol.
weren't climbing a wall.
Oh, yeah.
Just the floor.
Yeah.
Painted buildings. But yeah, back in the early years of MTV, you just did whatever you could on your budget.
Yeah.
So
So this his first album, technically, Dancing with Myself and White Wedding.
no, Dancing with Myself was on Don't Stop. Wasn't a hit. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Well,
White
Don't
Wedding-
Stop was not really that.
White Wedding and Hot in the City came out.
Oh, okay.
Then they re-released Dancing with Myself the following year.
Yeah, you're right. Hot in the City, did you watch the video?
Yes, I
He
did.
punched through something and there's an old because he's looking in the
Yeah, that was a dumb video.
Yeah, it is.
For the Dancing with Myself.
Now, White Wedding, what do you remember about White Wedding? See if you remember the same
Well,
video.
I saw it. I just saw all the videos yesterday.
The most memorable part of the video
is when he puts on the ring on
and
his
there's
finger.
blood on her finger and shoves it on
She
there.
had him do that on purpose. She wanted
yeah.
the cut to be real. Barbed wire ring, and then you got the motorcycle crash through. That wasn't the accident. The motorcycle accident through the church. One of those ladies slapping their butt was his girlfriend, right?
Okay.
Not in this video. She's the one that, I think, in the other video. Perry Lister. She was on a TV series about Freddy Krueger, right? Freddy's Nightmares. Freddy's Nightmares. And I think, I can't remember who the director was. It was tied into one of the other videos. David Fincher or something. I can't remember. Anyways, back. Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Have you ever seen that movie?
I have never seen it.
I've seen it.
Clips.
Cradle of Love. That apparently that song was in that movie. I do like. There's one scene where him and this girl trying to cross outside a building. He's like, "Don't worry if you fall, I'll make it." Favorite line.
I was surprised to see that he has a song called Speed in the movie Speed. I didn't know.
I've seen that movie. It's one of my favorite movies
I know.
of the 90s, and I don't remember that song. Obviously, the movie was a hit, and that song didn't bring him back to the public eye at all.
Yeah, one of the movies that really catapulted Sandra Bullock to fame, even though we had seen a previous movie with her in it that we like.
What movie was that?
Love Potion #9.
I don't remember seeing that. I've never seen that movie.
Yes, you have.
I don't remember seeing that
You
movie.
made your wife watch it too.
I don't think so.
Take Donovan, where they made that potion that everybody's trying to them.
I remember.
Yes, you do.
There's this one scene I remember from it, but I don't remember watching that movie ever. I don't. And maybe I saw it, but it's not that memorable a movie. If it is.
It should be like on a guilty pleasure.
No, not mine.
Yeah.
It's yours, not
You
mine.
just don't remember it. You're an idiot.
Thanks. And was there? Said the Doors. So the Doors is kind of interesting. The reason I say the Doors, he was in a deleted scene.
Yeah.
But the song "L.A. Woman" that he sings is a remake of a Doors song. And I bet when I put it on the list for you to put on, even though it was ranked, I put that high because I thought it was him, and I don't think I ever heard his version. It was the Doors version I heard. So we won't be doing the Doors, just so you know. Jim Morrison, he's already dead, and they're not an '80s band, so there you go. Even though
We could do them. I mean, we have enough. They have enough hits.
they do, if we ever run out of acts from the '80s, but we won't. There's like a ton of them. So White Wedding is kind of funnier to me because in his entire life, Billy Idol's never been married.
Yeah.
Even though he had that girlfriend.
He have a couple kids.
He does have a couple
Yeah,
kids,
so-
yeah, from both from two different women.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if any of them are popular. They're probably not. They don't. Would they use Idol as their last name?
I don't think they do. I think his
name
last
is
name is
Broad.
Broad, and I think his son's name, his last name is Broad. So
Okay, makes sense. And what else? So, wedding singer he was in. Was he anything else? Weird Al. That's where I was going with. Weird Al has two things that he's done.
yes, he does.
Okay. One, a specific song called Alimony, based on Mony
Mony
Mony,
Mony, yeah.
which is interesting that is his only #1 hit. I'm surprised that was even a #1 hit, but that's
The live version, I guess, is the one we hear. 'Cause
right.
There was a remake.
Which is why I put it down here.
Yeah, because
it was.
I don't remember ever hearing it until later.
No, it was on his EP with Dancing with Myself.
Right.
Don't think it was released, but then they re-released it and it was a live version on
Yeah.
Vital Idol, and that's where it shot up to #1. Of course, Professor of Rock did a video specifically about that song and the fact, and we know this from going to dances, and if that song gets played, people blurt out cuss words. Every American knows what we're talking about. And then Cradle of Love, I'm glad, went up all the way to #2. So Mony Mony won, but Cradle of Love 2. And he had 4 top 10 hits.
Yeah, no, normally, we haven't done it in a while because we got through most of the people who did it. I just said Weird Al songs and Christmas songs. We haven't done Christmas songs. He didn't have it. He doesn't have any Hispanics to come around
He has
every
a
year.
Christmas album.
But he has a Christmas
He
called
did.
Happy Holidays.
I know, and he's sitting at a piano like he's one of the old fogies that used to sing Christmas hits. So probably nothing released. Do you hear anything on
No,
Christmas for
no,
him?
no.
Okay.
But it's funny that he doesn't look like somebody who would have a Christmas album.
And again, I mentioned Weird Al. Alimony is one. Cradle of Love is on Polka, that medley, on the album I had, Off the Deep End. So I like hearing that version because it's fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cradle of Love. Okay, where were we? So Billy Idol's album, his self-titled album, had the 2 hits. Was Dancing with Myself on that one too?
I think it was on both.
Okay, so it might have been on both because it was an album. The first one was an EP. Then Rebel Yell. It's amazing that has so many good hits on it. for being a punk guy and putting out those 4 good hits, all good videos.
Yeah,
I like
the
the
eyes without a face. You never see an face without eyes. I'm not. I'm sorry. You never see just eyes without the face. But if you were to,
They'd be floating, right?
it's kind of like when at nighttime and you look out in the woods and eyes open up and you know it's a wolf, but you can only see the eyes. That's what it would be. Something like that.
Or there are floating eyes,
Yeah.
right? But it's based off a movie title from a 1960 French movie called Eyes Without a Face. So that's where he got that. And that's, again, second time he's done that, because Flesh for Fantasy was a movie title from the 40s starring Edward G. Robinson. So I like that he's a movie buff. Although he only got to do Speed. Well, no, we said he was in stuff, so. Alright. And we have mentioned Richard Grieco a couple times. So he came from 21 Jump Street, right? He had his own spin-off series called Booker.
Yeah.
Billy Idol did the theme song.
And he had his movie.
What?
Looks
If Looks Could Kill. Yeah, but Billy Idol had nothing to do with it. I'm saying Billy Idol actually did the music, the theme song.
Okay, gotcha.
To Booker.
Yeah.
It might have been a mix of something else he did specifically for the show, though. So that's kind of cool.
Well, okay, Rebel Yell is his famous album, but after that, he still had a couple of good hits after that.
He did.
I mean, Cradle of Love, probably his biggest hit. Well, maybe Rebel Yell.
In between, I don't remember those songs.
To Be a Lover, I did, when I listened, I'm like, I remember this being on the radio. There was also...
Video's kind of neat. He's in a boxing ring.
He's in a boxing ring, so yeah.
And when he does that thing, with the ropes, I was like, what if the ropes snap? 'Cause he just assumes it's going to hold him up. So I like after his career is over, pretty much, right? So we know some people have been to the Super Bowl. Okay, so he's never been to the Super Bowl. But he was going to be the singer at a rugby match. It's kind of like the NRL, right? National Rugby League, I imagine.
He hasn't, he's UK, right?
Yes.
He's British because he's got that accent.
But this was held in Australia, so they invited him. And he comes to the place on a hovercraft. So there are boats. The boat that's in The World Is Not Enough in the beginning. It's a hovercraft. Okay, so one of those wind boats, he comes to shore and his music's already playing. He gets to the stadium. Supposedly he sings 2 words to, it might have been White Wedding, I don't know. 2 words, and then there's a power outage. And he effectively had to cancel everything. That's kind of cool. I was like, White Wedding. Anyways, I'm going to my notes because I forget where I was going with. He also remade Don't You Forget About Me for a later album. I don't know why. So, when the motorcycle accident, what do you know about that?
He ran the stop sign and a car hit him.
Okay.
That's what I saw.
And he almost lost his leg.
Yeah, I did see that too.
So,
but he didn't, so.
And it was funny. So 2 songs came out on Charmed Life. Sorry, he had a Charmed Life. Cradle of Love, which he had to shoot it, and he was in picture frames. But the second one was it L.A. Woman. They show him in the thing. He's walking around, so it must have been a quick recovery.
I don't remember that video. I don't think I watched it.
You would think if you almost lost your leg, you would be up and running, walking around that quickly, but he apparently was. Unless that was I don't think they had the technology to put your head on somebody else's body at that time. I don't know. All right, so is that enough?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Whiplash, Smile.
Yeah, and as his later albums, his later albums.
Listen to all albums.
Sorry to go with that, but they were in the '90s, of course, and rock's leaving the scene. That's pretty much why.
Grunge came. So you would think grunge becomes popular. Punk definitely goes away.
Right.
Yeah. So understandable. You can't call his stuff grunge. No, probably not.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and get to that. Before we do that, Rebel Yell. He was at a party with the Rolling Stones, right?
Yeah.
And I thought Professor Rock did something on Rebel Yell too, and I don't remember listening to that. Thought he was gonna say there's a specific shout called the Rebel Yell, right? But no, it's actually a brand name for bourbon
Oh, okay.
called the Rebel Yell, and he saw the Rolling Stones drinking it, and he goes, "Hey, that would be a cool name," and he used it for his album title. And of course, if you hear the Billy Idol songs, you know he has that scream.
Yeah. Wow.
Would that be a Rebel Yell?
I don't know.
So I'll assume that's a yes. So,
Yeah.
anyways, okay, let's get our top 10. Yes, good.
Perfect.
All right, so according to this list, each of us has a honorable mention song. So starting with you,
I saw them. I was like, which one's mine?
you lost "Catch My Fall," and that's the least listenable song on Rebel Yell.
You mean hit or total?
Out of the-
Did you listen to them all?
Out of the hit,
Um,
out of the hits. Actually, do you remember the full album?
No, I'm sure if I listen to it again, I'd be like, oh yeah, because I played it.
Is there another hit song?
I
on
don't
the album?
recall. I don't
I
recall.
want to listen to it now. I don't know why I didn't listen to the album. Probably because I was listening to other stuff, like Matt Walsh. Okay, the song I lost was "L.A. Woman," and probably. I probably thought it was his song that I remember, but it's probably the Doors, so just as well. Okay, so let's get to 10. First two songs are both from Whiplash Smile. I would say that's probably the. I'm going to say this is my least favorite out of the 4 albums that have the hits on them. Because out of those 3 songs, again, go to Professor Rock. He does this thing where he goes back and picks out five gems from the 80s. Songs that you never hear from again, but there were unknown hits back then. He did Mr. Mister's "Is It Love," Kenny Loggins' "I'm Free," and Billy Idol's "Sweet 16." Sweet 16 is kind of interesting because it's got that castle story behind it.
Yeah, I didn't care for that one.
But it shows he was just sitting there playing the acoustic guitar
Yeah,
by
yeah.
himself, so he does play guitar pretty good. Okay, so first one though is "Don't Need a Gun." So out of the 3 songs on Whiplash Mile, that one didn't make our list. Sweet 16, that's okay. Okay, "Don't Need a Gun" would be our number 10. I have this at 9. You have it at 12. And obviously this was from the 80s. Maybe you didn't need a gun back then. Today, you need a gun.
I was gonna say, or he's just bragging how powerful he is without a gun. He's like, I don't need a gun. I got.
Well, he does do that. Several of his videos have the camera looking at him. He's like,
Oh yeah, he punches.
of course, he also has those
Gloves without the fingers. Yeah.
And well, they have the triangle cone shaped things, like
The
punk,
spikes. Yeah.
spiky
Yeah.
punk leather. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I think actually the song is talking about being against bearing arms, which is not a good thing. Of course, that was back in the 80s. So if he lived today, he might be one of those woke people that says get rid of your guns, but secretly he wants a gun, or he'd have a detailed security.
Or he's changed his mind since he wrote this song.
Hopefully, because he's a relatable everyman, so maybe he has. All right, next one up is "To Be a Lover." I have this one at 13, so this is the one I don't like. You like it a lot. You have it at number 6.
I got to be a lover.
Yeah, I mean it is a nice. That's the one where he's in the ring?
Yes.
Okay, the boxing ring. So it's a neat song. I like most of his other hits more than that. Supposedly, this is also a remake. Slightly. That's at least what it said. It said work off of another title. He trimmed a title. I don't know. I listened to the other song. It didn't sound.
I'm trying to think if he says to be a lover, it's the women that say it all the time.
Yeah, they should say it all the time, don't they?
I don't
Were
know if
they
he
in the
says
video?
it. Huh?
Were there women in the
Yeah,
background?
there are women in the background, but I'm
that's
trying
what
to
I
think if he said it. I can't remember.
I don't know. All right, so that's getting our Whiplash Smile songs out of the way. Next one up comes from Vital Idol, and that would be Mony Mony. We already said that was his hits. Obviously, when you get Vital Idol, you don't get to listen to the later hits, the good songs, because this came out before him. This one's is my 6. This one you have at 9. Now here's a neat fun fact. Fun fact with this song. Okay, so this song is a remake of a song from a guy named Tommy James, right? And this one hit number 1. Okay, the song that it displaced from number 1 was from Tiffany, called "I Think We're Alone
Which
Now."
was the Beatles.
No,
I thought that was the Beatles.
that was that other song called "I Saw Her Standing."
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
No. I Think We're Alone Now was a Tommy James song.
Oh, okay.
So 2 remakes from Tommy James were
We're number one,
consecutively
consecutively,
number
okay.
1. That's pretty cool. Okay, so next, and I don't think I liked that song way back when, but when you watch the video, you can get into it. So that's the only time I like that song is when I watch a video. It's on the radio. I turned it. That song plays a lot, right? Cradle of Love I hear sometimes. Rebel Yell I hear sometimes. Do you hear it? And White Wedding. So
I heard White Wedding.
He does
I
have
heard
4
White
songs.
Wedding Friday.
Do you hear anything else?
I hear Rebel Yell all the time.
Do you ever
I hear Cradle of Love. Those are about 3.
I think I might have heard once.
I've
Dancing
heard-
with Myself I've heard once.
A couple months ago, I heard Flesh for Fantasy. I was like, whoa!
I would be surprised. That and Eyes Without a Face, I would be surprised. Or Hot in the City, even. Okay, next one up. Number 7 we're on. Come from Rebel Yell. It's Eyes Without a Face. I have this at 5. You have it at 7. Now again, I mentioned before this video, the reason I like it mostly is from that middle section with the guitar.
This has got to be his slowest song.
Maybe.
That's borderline
Right.
a ballad. Not
Really?
quite, but...
I used to think that about Flesh for Fantasy. though.
Okay.
But I like, if it wasn't, I wouldn't like it except for that middle section. And the start of the video is kind of funny because you got the Eyes Without a Face. It's actually all black.
Oh, and
his
Billy
head
Idol's head's
is
coming
floating as it
towards
comes
us,
towards
yeah.
you. So it's actually a head without a body.
Yeah.
So-
It was actually the camera would be the one that's moving
Right,
on
right.
his head.
Yeah, not him moving. Okay, yeah, he's actually floating toward you.
No, the camera is just coming towards him.
I know. I'm just saying.
I know. I know.
Okay,
It looks
what,
like,
what if he's on?
it looks like to us.
He's on a magic carpet floating toward us. Okay, next one up comes from the self-titled Billy Idol CD. It's Hot in the City. I have this at 4. You have it at 8. This one sounds like a ballad. Da, 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 da. Stranger.
Yeah. Now, is it only hot in the city? Come on, it's hot in the country too.
It is. Well, the reason he said it was hot in the city is because if you watch the video, there was nuclear explosions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Pretty hot.
I thought he said specifically tonight. Did
No,
he say-
he said New York. When
Oh,
he
New
shouts
York,
out,
New
he's
York. I'm
shouting
like,
New York,
okay,
which
yeah.
is interesting because when it's on somebody else's radio station, some stations changed it
To whatever location they're at,
they
okay.
were, or they didn't play it.
He
at all.
probably did that in concert. Whatever city he's in,
You
he
would
probably
think so.
would say the city.
Yeah, just to get them to go, well, that's us. Who cares? Right. Okay, number 5 from your Rebel Yell. This would be Flesh for Fantasy. Again, I thought this was slower, and then I listened to the video, I was shocked. I'm like, oh, it's fast. How about that? I have this at 7. You have it at 4.
Yeah, and I
don't know whether
played
that-
the guitar part I really like is he just right. I really love that guitar part.
I know that I would assume that would be when you look at people playing their instruments, you know, the list what they play. I would assume that would be what's called the rhythm guitar, correct?
Not necessarily.
No,
It might be, but
I say that's what it is. 'Cause that's the rhythm. Play a beat for me. Do. Okay, next one up. From what is it from? Don't Stop. Okay, originally from Don't Stop. Dancing with Myself. I have this at 8.
that was his first album, supposedly.
Yes.
What was Billy Squires' first album?
Don't Say No.
Oh, I thought it was Don't Stop. Now, darn it. My memory is not doing me.
But
any
I
favors.
actually don't think that was his first album. That was the album with the big beat, and I can't remember what it's called right
Yeah, my memory's not failing me at this moment.
now. Okay, you have Dancing with Myself at 3. I have it at 8. I would say his voice is not all that appealing through this, especially that part where he goes and it's shaky. Now, interestingly, the reason he's titled it "Dancing with Myself" is he saw these people like in Japan, I think,
Okay.
where the music was playing, and instead of partnering up and dancing with people, they turned around. They were looking in the glass building at their reflection. And that's who they were dancing with, themselves.
When I see or hear, well, most people dance by themselves. They always, unless it's a slow song, they're out there with people. But okay, what I think of is Jerry Lewis and the Nutty Professor when they're at the dance at the end. Do you recall it?
I don't recall that one.
Oh, it's funny.
Okay. Now I have to watch that part.
Yes, that clip where
Okay.
he's dancing to the music when he's the nerdy professor.
Okay.
Before he changes.
Gotcha. Now, the video-wise, the part I like is when he's grabbing the electrical things. Because he looks like a Frankenstein scene. And he could be Frankenstein. I don't know. And then they all drop from the skyscraper. And then reclimb. It's like, oh, we did it again. The first time, let's climb again. What were they trying to get to the music?
They're trying to dance with him, and he wanted to dance by himself.
Oh, okay. Is that what it is? All right. Okay, next one. Number 3 from Billy Idol, White Wedding. I have this at 3. You have it at 5.
This is one of, okay, I don't know if you hear this, but every time it comes with a chorus, I always want to sing the second part first.
Which part is that?
It goes, so it says, it goes, it's a nice day to start again. I always want to say White Wedding first.
Right, yeah.
And it doesn't do that until the second part.
Yes. And I believe this is probably, this is Hey Little Sister. His sister's probably getting married since he never got married. He's probably talking about her wedding.
Okay. Did he have a sister?
I think so.
Okay.
Now, I heard, what the good thing about this song, the weird guitar going into it, right? That's the intro.
Yeah.
And then you got the bass, the rhythm bass. Do 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 do. Okay, now you talk about the Rebel. This is a song that has the Rebel yell. It's on the previous album, but it has the Rebel.
Yeah.
Like, start again. It's a nice day for
Yeah.
a white wedding.
It's nice. And it's nice that they didn't have, they weren't playing drums. They were playing a hammer and nails. What was it, on a coffin? I think it was a coffin.
Maybe, I don't know. Or a cross. They had 2 versions. One version got banned because his girlfriend was on a cross at the end.
Oh, okay.
They wouldn't play that. So it could have been that. All right. What else? So do you know anybody else that screams like he does? Like where he goes, wow! I mean, it's a screech. It's not just a... David Lee
No,
Roth.
but I mean, we were trying to do the lip thing.
Right. I can't do it.
Well, we can't do it. We're trying to think, does anybody else do that? I think you probably got that from Elvis. Wouldn't Elvis be the kind of...
Yeah, he probably did.
did.
He probably did. But I would say David Lee Roth maybe has a scream like that. Possibly. He'd be the closest. Okay. So that was number 3. And by the way, we agree on the top 2. So number 2 from Rebel Yell is Rebel Yell. Both of us have it too. And you would think, it's off for the beer. Well, obviously it doesn't talk about the beer in the song. It's called Rebel Yell. It's like she screams. She's doing the Rebel Yell. Can girls be rebels? Yeah, I guess they can. There's not rebels and rebelettes.
Well, it's at midnight too, right?
Right.
So the midnight call was the Rebel Yell.
She's a banshee.
Oh.
Okay, that really means our number 1 song we both agree on is Cradle of
Incredible. Yeah, you're looking for that answer. Yeah, it's Cradle of Love. Of course it is.
They know it too.
Yeah.
It's Cradle of Love. The video, I think. Oh, I didn't look up who the girl was. I think the girl. I know this.
It was
Betsy
Betsy
Lynn something or other.
George.
Okay.
Betsy Lynn George.
Okay. I know this too. So just similar to that girl in Hot for Teacher with Van Halen, neither one of those two look like they did back then. You're like, ooh.
Yeah, I know. Age.
Yeah. Now, you'd think it's because the guy is old and older and the girl's still in high school or something, but it's not about that. Maybe it's because there's an age difference, but not because you're right up in the cradle. That's not what the song's about.
that guy's never seen a girl before. He's sweating and with a pansy.
and then her boyfriend shows up, right?
Yeah.
And it's that biker dude, bald dude.
Yeah. Okay.
Is he the bald dude that was in Wedding Singer? Remember Billy Idol's pushing the cart toward the guy, and he goes, the guy goes, "Get out of my way, Billy! I'll punch you." And then this big biker dude goes up, and he's got a Billy Idol shirt. It looks like the guy in Incredible
Well,
Bob.
we'll look it up, but I don't know.
It might be. Maybe that's one of his buddies. I don't know, from the past. Okay, so that's your number one, Cradle of Love from Billy Idol. So, Billy Idol, amazingly, we have him this far down on our list. He's one that I would listen to his stuff.
Yeah.
For sure. Unlike Led Zeppelin. Just offended a bunch
Yeah,
of
there's none of his hits he released am I like, I wouldn't listen to it.
Right.
I like them all.
Right, and when you watch him in concert, it looks like, man, I want to be there. Okay, so we're going to tone it down next week, for sure. We're going from the punk rock scene, what would you call, to the Latin American scene.
Latin American.
Isn't she from Latin America? Come on, she played the conga.
Well, I know everything she started to do was a different language.
Yeah.
Probably Spanish, I'm sure.
So we're going Spanish. We're going from punk. Although I wouldn't say Mexicans maybe have punks too, but it is Miami Sound Machine / Gloria Estefan.
They're like, oh, we thought you meant Jennifer Lopez. No, she wasn't 90s.
She was 90s. Yep.
I mean, she wasn't 80s yet.
All right, so I don't know. I don't know many of Jennifer Lopez's hits. She might have a bunch of number ones, but that's because people didn't know what they were talking about.
So, Miami Sound Machine, but who are we kidding? Gloria Estefan.
Yeah, it's her. It's similar to like Michael McDonald, Doobie Brothers. We had half, well, not half, but you know what I'm saying. If she was connected to something, we're just ranking them all together. So that's next week. Until then, bye.
Bye.
Parts that I probably fast forward through.
I meant to turn it down, and I didn't.